Your 8-minute question and answer period will now begin. If your team was given $25,000 right now, what would you use it for?
So if our team was given $25,000 right now, I think what we would definitely do would distribute the $25,000 to each of our 5 projects. They do open the conversation about different aspects such as, gender inequality, which is for Codel, or mental health for B, for example. So by distributing the funds, the 5,000 to each, we can do different things for each project. Like for example, for Codel, we can be able to have more workshops, pay more TAs, increase the volume of students that we actually have at each workshop. So if we have more TAs and can pay each TA more money, then we can have more students and impact more lives that way.
What areas of your projects do you see as most innovative and why?
So I can go with that one as well. So what I think is just maybe specifically talking about Codel, I think that one of the most innovative things that we've done even before COVID-19 was that we found a platform online that we can use to code. I know that sometimes it's difficult to download, let's say, JavaScript or HTML on your laptop. You never truly know how it's going to work depending on PCs or Macs. So we did find an online platform. You could just put the website onto any internet connection, and then any girl student can log on to the website right away and put their information in and learn how to code through that. So we didn't have to worry about telling the girls you have to pay for this or do that. We can truly teach them without having any of the obstacles in our way.
Have you engaged any subject matter experts in the development of your projects?
I'll go ahead. So for VIVE, we made sure that we spoke to professionals within the field like Jack.org or the Department of Psychology at Concordia to talk about the subject of mental health, so that we made sure that our events or storytelling workshops were safe and also educational.
Was there any unexpected negative impact or externality related to your project?
I'll go ahead. So for VIVE, there was definitely a learning curve because during the beginning, there was sort of a, I guess you could say, a fake positivity attitude towards how we were creating our content. Because on one side, we were trying to make sure that we were radiating positivity and good energy, but we noticed that although we were having good intentions, it wasn't necessarily accepting that mental health can come in different shapes and forms. So that's something that we definitely worked with and we changed early on.
What accomplishment from the last year are you most proud of?
So one thing is that we really pushed forward on online events, and we created more this year than we ever did before. So for VIVE, we were able to have a workshop on motivation and productivity where we had Jack.org collaborate with us. And during our Don't Ball Develop, we were able to have more than we've ever had before participants. So we had 70 people. We even had a fundraiser where we raised a good some amount of money for Head and Hands, which is a charity.
What didn't go well this year, and what did you learn from it?
So I think that at the beginning with COVID-19, every student and team had to adapt to it. I think at the beginning, what didn't go well would be the events, the marketing. Sometimes it was pretty hard to coordinate for events and for projects with the PMs as well. So we had to make sure that we created that communication early on. So by September, we knew how to communicate, who to communicate with, and how to get the information across in order to successfully accomplish, for example, the Jack.org collaborative event or the Codel workshops. We knew how to communicate with somebody even though you were not in the same room.
Explain what tools your team uses to measure impact.
So we can just look at specific projects. For example, for Codel, we use the participants that come to either the webinars, the boot camps, or the workshops. And then for VIVE, we also consider participants who that came to events, but we also deeply consider the participants that were involved in the Don't Bottle It Up photo series, so that worked directly with us, gave us their story and their pictures, and put it out there for the Concordia students to see that they're truly not alone.
Tell us about your project's marketing strategy to reach your target audience.
So VIVE is a project specific for the students and especially the young adults because they are those more at risk of mental health issues. So we make sure to get people within our age demographics voices heard. That's how we were able to engage and ask people within our surrounding at university to be able to voice their opinions. and not just their opinions, but their stories. And with that, a lot of people could relate to their stories, and that way we could change the narrative and help those that are within the demographic of the younger adults.
What existing resources has your team leveraged throughout the development of your project?
So I would use the example of maybe Project InStep. So Project InStep is the one with the Indigenous entrepreneurs. So we did have a lot of resources based upon Concordia's JMSB entrepreneurship classes. We do have a lot of classes that we do need to take with our curriculum just at our school level. So there's a lot of information, a lot of textbooks, a lot of resources at the libraries that we can develop the information, whether it's social media marketing, which we did this year, whether it's income taxes to learn, or budgeting for entrepreneurs. We were able to leverage information that we did have on hand and create it into a very easy, adaptable workshop that we can give to the Indigenous adult learners, and students.
Can you outline the costs related to the development of your projects?
So looking specifically at Project Codao, so at the beginning of the year, we had started, at the beginning of last year, I apologize, we had started with coding workshops, which were free for students. And then we were lucky enough to have the 5-year partnership, which was free, the 5-year partnership. So we got the location at Le Planétariat Montréal for free so we could host more students, which then inevitably led us to be able to get more coders, TAs, as well as head coders. So we started to pay them to adopt more curriculum. So for example, instead of just having HTML, they took the time to create JavaScript and Python. So the main cost associated to Project Codao would be paying the TAs as well as the head coders to create and develop more curriculum for our students, allowing for our students not to have to pay anything to attend our events.
What surprised you the most as you worked on your project over the last year?
So definitely with the pandemic, the attitude towards mental health has increased, and the presence of it. So one thing that we were really surprised by was how understanding and how welcoming people were to the Project Vive, and how willing they were to engage within our events, which is why we think that we had so many people participate within the events and also engage in our fundraiser. And that's something very positive that we took away from this year.
Do you have plans to scale your projects? Why and how?
So yes, we hope to continue partnering with organizations such as Le Planétariat Montréal and Le Wagon Montréal to work on future projects for Codel. And we are also creating a podcast with women from the tech workforce to learn more about their experience in the STEM field and to give young females role models.
How does your team define success?
So we define success by
Your
how
time has now expired. Thank you, and Nationals-Concordia University.